Hello all. In this video that is going to be short, we're going to talk about complex numbers and random numbers. So for complex numbers, we include the library complex, and for random numbers, we include CSTD library. So first, let's look at complex numbers. So the way that you define a complex numbers is you say the variable is complex, and you can define it to be integer, double, or anything, right? So here you see after complex, right after I say what is the type of the real part and what is the type of the imaginary part. Do they have decimals or not? In this case they do, so I use double. You give a name to that complex variable, whatever you want to call it, and then inside parentheses you use real part, comma, imaginary part. So this number is going to be 10 plus 2i. Okay, that's a complex number called my complex, and then you can show it here. Right? When you show it, it is going to show it as exact same thing in parentheses, right? So that's what it is going to show. The number is 10 and 2. So you're not going to see 10 plus 2i as you saw in MATLAB or 10 plus 2j. It's just 10 and 2. When you put it inside parentheses, that means that's a complex number. And then there are functions for complex numbers. There is the real function, there is the imag function, there is the ABS to give you magnitude, there is the arg that gives you the angle, and then there is conj to give you complex conjugate, right? So if the number is 10 plus 2i, then you see that the real part is of course 10, the imaginary is 2, the magnitude is the square root 10 squared plus 2 squared, which is 10.198. The angle is this angle, clearly this is in radians, and conjugate is 10 and negative 2. Okay, so if you want the angle in degrees, you know you have to convert it in degrees, and for that we need pi, and for pi we need what? We need the math library. So we have to say include, then what? CMath, right? So we can use that pi number. So here, if we want the angle, since it's in radians, we multiply it by 180 and divide it by m underscore pi, then it is going to be in degrees. So we can say the angle in degrees. And so now you see the angle is what? About 11 degrees, 11.3 degrees. Okay, so these are some basic things that you can do for complex numbers. What about the random numbers? The major command in C++ is the rand command, which returns a pseudo-random integer in the range from 0 all the way to 3276.7, 32,000, okay? So if I say generate for me here, we're going to see the for loop in a few videos from now, but basically all I'm doing here is I'm generating 10 random numbers using the rand command. That's all I'm doing. And you see these numbers are these guys here. Clearly none of them is repeating from any of the previous ones. They look random, and they are in the range 0 to 32,000. Okay, and the more numbers you generate, you probably see more and more the nature of they are not really repeating. Now it's pseudo-random. That's a discussion of its own. Why do we call it pseudo-random and so on? If you want, look it up, pseudo-random. And basically means this command depends on a seed and the seed number, and if you have that seed number, we can basically regenerate these patterns, these random numbers again. But again, I don't want to get into that right now. But the question is, sometimes I do not want a number between 0 to 32,000. I want a random number between what? Let's say 0 to 49. Then what I do, I use the modulus command. So I say rand modulus 50. Then it's the remainder of division of that random number with 50, which is going to be between 0 to what? 49. So if I apply that command, rand, and then modulus 50, as you can see, all of these numbers are between 0 to what? Between 0 to 49, because they are remainders of division by 50. Now, sometimes you don't want that. You want what? You want a number between A to B. So if you want it to be between A and B, or in the range A to B, what would you do? What you need is here, you see, if I divide it by 50, the number is between 0 to 49. So I need to take, let's say, this range 0 to 49 to arrange like and A to B. Well, A to B, I can write it as what? I can write it as A plus 0 and then what? B minus A, right? If my number is between 0 to B minus A and then I add a constant A to all of that, then my number is going to be between what? Range A to B. And you see here it's between 0 to 49, so that 49 for me should be what? B minus A. So what number should I use here? Instead, I should use what? I should use rand modulus of what? Because I have to add a 1 to that maximum number to get my number over here. So it's going to be B minus A plus 1, right? This number is going to be between 0 and B minus A, and all I need is to add A to it. Then I'm definitely going to be in range A to B. And if you want, we can try that over here. So we can say int A, right, equals, let's say, 3 and B equals, let's say, 12. So I want a number between what? 3 to 12. And all I would change, as I said, is going to be B minus A plus 1. And then you add a number A to the whole thing. So I get the result of that. And then I add A to it, and hopefully this number is going to be what? Between A to B. So let me put that over here, right? And hopefully that is going to give me what I want. So look at these numbers. As you can see, they are all between what? Between 3 to 12, and it doesn't matter if I make it more, instead of 10 I make it 40, I still should get all of the numbers in that range, right? So as you can see here, look at them, right? Look at all of these numbers. They are all between what? Between basically 3 to 12. Now the chance of 12 itself or 3 showing up is small, and clearly when you say division by 50, the number can go anywhere from 0 to 59, right? And 0 is very rare. The number should be an integer multiple, exactly in this case of what? 12 minus 3 plus 1, which is 10. So the number itself should be a multiple of 10, right? So that division is 0, and then you add a what to it? The 3, so you get a 3 here, right? So the number should exactly be what? The number that you generate should be a multiple of 10, in this case, using this random number. You probably add more to it, you're going to see 3 showing up, but it's not going to be a ton of that. So this is how you generate a random number between A to B, and this is complex numbers. Hopefully this video was useful to you, and I'll see you in my next lecture. Thanks.